Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back. So on the previous episode, we got the door installed temporarily and it pretty much lines up. Everything's lined up on those lines on top and everything on the side. It's pretty much where it should be. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off the door and I'm gonna start welding up all the spots over here. The outer skin right here, this one. And then once that's done, I'm gonna line everything up on the cowl, start spot welding the cowl. And then once I finish the cowl, I'm gonna go ahead and install the hood, the fender, maybe the radiator reinforcement, everything else, and see if everything lines up. So on this episode, I'm gonna try to do all the rough work. And then on part 10, I'll try to finish the whole van. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully we'll get it done by part 10. That was my goal, to get it done by part 10. So we'll see how that goes. Wish me luck. But on part 9, this one, we're gonna do as much rough work as we can and get everything prepped and ready for final assembly. Corner section is welded in. There was probably, I don't know, Matthew counted. How many, Matthew, how many spot welds did we do? Like 150?
160.
160. Matthew counted 160 spot welds. So yeah, quite a few we did. I'm gonna have to sand them down, obviously, to make them nice and flat, and then primer and then paint. But pretty much now the corner is done. Everything lines up. Now we're gonna start working on the cowl. So now the cowl, I still have to sand some of the things right here so it's nice and flat. I gotta bang out a few things here and there so it's nice and leveled. The back section is leveled already. We already measured that. So now all I gotta do is pretty much put this in place, line up the holes right here, clamp everything in place. I'm actually gonna go ahead and flatten out all of these spot welds that I drilled out before, so everything's nice and flat. And I'm gonna go ahead and grind these down so they're not sticking out, because the spot welds on the gray panel, they're not gonna be on the exact same spot. So I want to make this as flat as possible. And then I'm gonna mark the spots where the holes are gonna be, new holes are gonna be, and then I'm gonna grind them down and throw some weld through primer on there, and that's gonna weld pretty good. All right, so I'm gonna clean this up, put the panel back on, and then see what we get. All right guys, and the cowl is pretty much done. Obviously I need to sand a bunch of these spot welds, which is probably like a million of them. And then I'm gonna have to install this bracket and weld it in. But the reason I didn't install it because I'm gonna go pick up a new compressor, because mine, when I sand the spot welds with this guy, I mean, it does a pretty good job. And a lot of spots are pretty tight, so I'm gonna have to use this instead of a grinder. But every time I use the compressor, it's a pretty good compressor. I used it for the frame machine, and it's a good compressor for a lot of things. And the motor is pretty good. Everything's good. It's just the tank is a little bit too small for air tools like this to use it constantly. So there's a DeWalt I saw. That's a 15 gallon. This one is a 4.5 gallon, but pretty much same motor, same everything. Basically just a 15 versus a 4.5. I just need a little bit more volume to basically use this tool continuously, and should be good to go. So I'm going to pick that up tomorrow and get a bunch of these spot welds done, because there's a bunch of them I gotta do underneath as well before I weld this in. Yeah, so it's a billion spot welds, and it's a lot of work, but honestly, I don't mind it. So on part 10, I'll have all this stuff finished, and I'm gonna start assembling all the front pieces, the suspension, doors, everything else, and see how everything sits. It's always good to test before final tuning everything and prepping, painting, make sure I don't have to adjust anything else. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on part 10.